Hey, this is a demonstration of how a P-trap works and why you need a vent. So what I did is I made a small model of a P-trap using straws, connected them together with packing tape to make it watertight, and then I tested it with and without a vent. This is my P-trap. It should look roughly like what's under your sink. Water comes in down here, so the sink is up here. Water goes down the drain, flows through the P-trap. This is the P-trap arm that eventually leads out of your house. And as you can see, it looks like a big old sideways P. That's why it's called a P-trap. Here's a demonstration of siphon action. So as water comes in through the P-trap, it flows out. When water stops flowing in, the P-trap actually empties out. The water gets sucked out through the long arm. Here's a slow motion. You can see water stops coming in the top, and yet it keeps flowing out, emptying the P-trap. Okay, first of all, what's so bad about an empty P-trap? Well, the whole point of this P-trap is to block sewer gases from coming up through the sewer into your home. Oh no. So normally, if the P-trap's working, it's supposed to be full of water. So there's just always water sitting here. And when the sewer gases come up, they actually get blocked by this water seal. Okay, back to this crazy siphon action thing. This is pretty weird because you see this is the water line, but this water is flowing upward against gravity. Why is it doing that? Well, there's all this water, which is flowing downhill. That's what water usually does. And this water, as it flows downhill, leaves some empty space here. It creates a vacuum. And then that vacuum is actually what's pulling this water upwards. And the reason this water wins out against this water is because this water is heavier. There's more water pulling downward here than is pulling downward here. The vacuum that gets created will suck up the lighter column of water. So how do we prevent this problem? We need to insert some air to prevent a vacuum from forming. So what I'm going to do is just add a tiny cut here that allows air to enter so that if any vacuum forms, it immediately gets filled with air. That air pressure is going to push downward against this water so that it doesn't get sucked up. Okay, I put in a tiny cut. Here it is! The water's flowing like last time. When I stop, the water does not empty out of the P-trap. It actually stays, and in fact some water gets pulled back up. Look at that. Little mark here, that's where I just took a pair of scissors and made a tiny vent. That's where the air is coming in. So this time around, here's the water level, and we saw that the water is moving up this way. So the exact same thing is happening. The water is moving up against gravity because this time this water is heavier and it wins out. The air gets in through here and breaks any vacuum, so water is able to flow freely out here and it doesn't pull this direction. Just to bring it together, this is a picture of one of the traps under my sinks. So this is the trap. There's always water hanging out here, blocking nasty sewer gases. This is the vent. It's called an air admittance valve. Normally a vent would go all the way to the roof to let air from the outside in. In this case, it's just letting air in through a one-way valve. So air can get in through here, but it can't get out. It's important that it can't get out because you don't want sewer gases to come through it into your house. So it's just here to break a vacuum. If there were no vent, then water would be coming down through the P-trap. This column of water would be pulling downward. It would create a vacuum, and that vacuum would suck water up and out of the P-trap. Instead, what happens is the P-trap fills up, it empties into this pipe, and then air comes in and fills up any vacuum that would be created. So there's no suction, so gravity just keeps the water in the P-trap. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this made it make more sense why P-traps are there and how they work. Oh yeah, and the straw makes for a pretty good cat toy.